Where can I go? What can I do? Who can I trust or tell it to?
Welcome. We've gathered here for the Be the Peace Project, for which Status of Women Canada has given Second Story Women's Centre funding over the next 3 years to create a coordinated community response to violence against women and girls in all of Lunenburg County. The invitation went out far and wide.
You have already fulfilled my heart's yearning, which is to have 150 people in this room.
As a therapist, I have heard probably thousands of people talk to me about their experience of being victimized. Abuse and addiction often go hand in hand. So if I could be at this time in my life doing something to prevent the number of people that are abused, that's a good feeling.
How many of you in the room know someone who has had an experience of violence in relationships?
I looked around the room and I don't think I saw a hand that didn't go up. And so if this is the microcosm of all of our communities, this is a profound issue.
There is way too much violence in our communities, and we're taking a stand. The best way for us to solve this problem is for us all to come together and work on the problem together. We're stronger that way.
Dealing with violence against women and girls isn't just a women's issue. It involves men and boys, it involves schools, it involves government, it involves local not-for-profit organizations and churches. So it is a big systemic issue.
This project is about integrating the efforts of organizations that are really all committed to very similar goals.
Citizens working together is what affects change, and we should never doubt that, because it is in fact the only thing that has ever evoked real change.
And I know we can make changes. That's the good part. I mean, I grew up in the 30s, so I have seen a lot of positive changes since I grew up. Honest to heavens.
15 years ago, we couldn't even have talked about this issue.
What is that absolute preferred future that you are in this room to work for? What's it look like? Create a visual image.
Spend a lot of time talking about what's wrong with the world, or we can spend a little bit of time talking about what's right with the world and how based on that we can get more of that, how we can move momentum forward. And I think we can create great change that way.
All around, people are trying. Sometimes they don't know what to do.
My headline's going to be short and snappy. So you're going to say community celebrates.
Yep.
How about that? Different color. How about pink?
Yep.
I like pink. Pink is good.
Take your poster and walk it inside all the way around the circle so everybody can see what it is. This morning's headlines are:
How possible that you're going to pull 150 people together out of a county of 45,000 people and they're going to put together an action plan in 3 days? What has most interested me about this weekend is the process that the facilitators have used, because they're going to achieve that action plan. I would not have believed that that was possible.
what ideas are percolating for you out of your deep passion?
As a facilitator, I've been helping to create the kind of space that invites people to be able to speak.
I want to talk about mental health.
I'd like to talk about building self-esteem in youth.
I'd like to talk about what can and are we doing to teach young men and women about healthy, positive relationships.
I'd like to talk about how restorative approaches would work in intimate partner violence.
I'd like to have a conversation on how alcohol contributes to violence in our community.
My question is, how can we involve boys and young men through compassion and acceptance that celebrates a positive, healthy form of masculinity?
We really need to elevate the status of where we've had young people in the past and see them as equal players in our communities.
When did it happen that we became generations that didn't work together automatically? If there's something positive happening, every generation should feel like they're part of that, whether they're 9 years old or 90 years old.
I've been bullied, and I know what it's like, but instead of sitting around moping or trying to hurt other people, I want to do something about it.
I started the anti-bullying campaign.
If I can be a voice, others might join me.
He's a born speaker. He's a politician coming up.
I've been wanting to be an RCMP since I was a little girl, and I still do. I grew up in an unhealthy situation. The police officers that would come to the house every time the cops were called, they wouldn't really do anything. And I thought, why are you an RCMP or a police officer if you're not doing anything to help us or help the community? Then I thought, why not I do that? If I become a police officer and I go into a home where the little kids are like afraid, I know how they feel. I know what they're going through.
I have a granddaughter here and I'm thinking, oh my God, what changes they can make.
And our champions are myself, Adrienne, and Scott. Thank you.
When we leave, we're going to have people that are passionate about the subjects, and we'll take those and narrow it down to a group of prioritized actions that people will really commit to.
Anything else that kind of clusters automatically for us?
I just want to go home and just like think of more ideas. I just have all this energy to get going.
And mine and Nancy's job is to keep the energy going, is to keep people connected, to keep moving forward, to keep making more partnerships, to keep calling people and saying, hey, what do you need from us? Is there some way we can support that?
Nobody has to go it alone. Sometimes it can be a really difficult thing to reach out and to find a sense of community, but it's incredibly empowering, it's really engaging, and it's a lot of fun.
If I can ask all you guys to stand up.
When it happened to me, I was thinking, nobody better find out about this. And then I was thinking, it's okay, because I'm not the only person who's been through this. It's good to talk about it. It's like a weight off your shoulders.
Okay, all right. Do you guys remember what we're going to say? Yes. Okay, because I do.
It actually makes me feel much better about the situation.
What do we want? Peace! How are we going to do it? Make a change! Come on, get louder.
There have been days when I feel like, how could we possibly do this? How it is of such magnitude. And I feel now like we have mates, we have a community who are really yearning for the same things we're yearning for.
What do we want? Peace! How will we get it? Make a change! What do we want? Peace! How will we get it? Make a change!
We have a committed community who really wants to make a change together. And that just makes my heart sing.